right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to this Wednesday, April 5th meeting of the Tallahassee City Commission. It's my pleasure to call this meeting to order. For those who are willing and able, please stand for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, as we gather here today, we thank you for your abundant blessings and goodness. We say a special prayer tonight for the Saylor family as they mourn the loss of DeMarcus. We ask that you provide the family, friends, and city family with comfort, peace, and strength during this time. Give us wisdom as we consider the business before us this evening. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. City Manager, are there any agenda modifications?
There's one, Mr. Mayor. We've added item 12.06.
Mr. Miller? Tell me. Right. Good evening again. We've got two health-related acknowledgments that we want to do, beginning the first with a presentation of the Healthiest Weight Community Champion Award, presented by the Department of Health. And I want to invite forward, I believe, Allison Ferris. Oh, Kevin Fritz. Okay, come on up, Kevin. We thank you for being with us this afternoon. I want to turn the microphone over to you for a presentation.
Just a little background to get started. In 2013, the Florida Department of Health launched this Healthiest Weight program as a public-private collaborative to help Florida's children and adults make informed, consistently healthy choices regarding eating and active living. This program has since been embraced by businesses, cities, and communities throughout the state. It is now my pleasure to recognize the City of Tallahassee with the Healthiest Weight Community Champion Award for its efforts to support policies focused on healthy weight, overall health and wellness, and healthy lifestyles throughout the community. This award is significant because of the ongoing work that is performed by the city. It's a fundamental part of making our community a healthier place to live, work, and play. Providing an environment that is conducive to outdoor activities and healthy eating has proven to facilitate healthy choices and reduce unhealthy ones. Our most recent data from 2013 tells us that only 41% of Leon County adults were at a healthy weight. 28.6% were overweight. 27.8% were obese. Now 56 met weekly aerobic recommendations, which is great, it's heading in the right direction, but only 21.5 met muscle strengthening recommendations, and only 17% ate fruits and vegetables a day. So we have a challenge ahead of us, and so, but what's even more concerning is that our percentage of Leon County school children that are overweight and obese is 27.7% for first graders, 33.2% for first graders, 33.2% for third graders, and 39.8% for sixth graders. I think you can see that there's a trend there. The percentage of children goes up from by 12% from first grade to sixth grade. Because we know that being overweight or obese as a child increases the risk of obesity into adulthood, something needs to be done. And the City of Tallahassee is doing its part and deserves to be recognized for the following achievements. City of Tallahassee offers 72 active parks. I think we should be proud of that, and we need to appreciate the city for providing those parks. 11 green spaces, 9 nature preserves, and 7 future parks, all providing opportunities for physical activity. Creating off-street trail systems within a 10-mile walk. It's available for 34.2% of people in the community, which is a lot better than most communities. Being active on neighborhood crime watch meetings in more than 60 neighborhoods, promoting physical activity through the promotion of 95210, Move Tallahassee, Golf Winds Track Club, and Love to Ride Tallahassee. Allowing farmers markets on private property within the urban area, and then also providing a private room for breastfeeding mothers to pump and promoting breastfeeding in the workplace. Together we can work to ensure that there are safe places to be active and healthy sources of food available, leading to long-term benefits, which includes a decrease in overweight and obesity in Florida's adults and children. We would therefore like to sincerely thank the county for the city for their efforts to improve overall health, improve job and school performance, and decrease work and school absenteeism.
The only thing I would add is we also offer during the workday fitness classes right here in City Hall, and I've seen various members of our city staff taking full advantage of that opportunity. So thank you for that recognition. We do have a high hill to climb physically, metaphorically, as a community at large, but we've got some really good leadership to help get us there. And speaking of some of that leadership, this morning we had the opportunity to kick off National Walking Day. And one of my colleagues actually did a little bit more than talk about it. She decided she was going to be about it. So I ran into her in the hall this morning, decked out in her full exercise attire. My colleague, Commissioner Nancy Miller, kicked that effort off for the city. We're extremely grateful for her. She's been a major advocate for also pumping stations here in City Hall to help make City Hall and government buildings more family friendly. And so I'll yield the microphone to Commissioner Miller to talk a little bit about what she did this morning.
Thank you, Mayor. And, you know, many of you in this room actually showed up this morning for 9 o'clock. And we kicked off National Start Walking Day by getting out there and walking. We walked over to Cascades Park and back. It was 1.3 miles. We made it in about 20 to 25 minutes. And I just really want to thank everybody that came out, but it was a really great way to start off the day. A big, heavy work day today that we had all our meetings, and everybody got all jazzed up and their metabolism kicked off and everybody was ready to go back to work by the time we got back from the walk. So I'm here to present or to recognize the National Start Walking Day by reading a proclamation. Whereas National Walking Day is established to celebrate physical activity and to encourage all Americans to be more active on a regular basis. Whereas the City of Tallahassee participates because walking is one of the easiest steps one can take to improve their health. And whereas the City of Tallahassee organizes walks at various locations throughout the year, and also every week from here, every morning on Wednesday morning, and we had a special walk today. And whereas walking is the safest, least expensive, most sustainable form of exercise, whereas research has shown that walking 30 minutes a day reduces the risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, improves blood pressure, blood sugar, blood cholesterol levels, prevents weight gain, lowers the risk of obesity, improves mental well-being, increases energy and stamina, and reduces the risk of osteoporosis, breast cancer, and colon cancer. So we should all walk, don't you think? Whereas the City of Tallahassee maintains more than 93 miles of trails for walking, running, riding, and cycling. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Miller, and along with my mayor, Andrew Gillum, and my commission, on behalf of the City of Tallahassee and the City Commission, declare April 5th, 2017 as National Start Walking Day. So I know the weather looks scary, but there's still time. And gee, it sounds like so much fun to get out and walk in 70-mile-an-hour winds. Just walk with the wind. Thank you very much.
She said, walk in your house, not outside during 70 miles per hour wind, of course. I want to invite forward Ashley Edwards from our Parks and Recreations Department. Ashley, and anyone else? Who else would we like to bring up?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We also have Jim Davis, the Executive Director of Sustainable Tallahassee, Courtney Atkins from Whole Child Leon.
And Marie from Whole Child Leon. Good to see you, Marie. It's my pleasure to present this proclamation as this community embarks on, I believe this will be the 47th anniversary and celebration of Earth Day, fastly approaching April 22nd, 2017. And really, rather than going through every one of these whereas clauses, because there are so many, I just want to call out a couple of them as being really signatory to us in this community. I want to compliment the City Commission and the city leadership who right now in this community we've got underway the building and construction of a 60 megawatt solar farm. We'll begin with our first 20 megawatts and it'll be followed up by 40 additional megawatts, which will triple the amount of solar energy that we produce here in this community onto our electric grid system. This community has and prides itself as being a really strong and good steward to our environment. Some of you all will have noticed we've increased the installation of bike lanes and bike boxes that are made available for folks to ride. And you also heard from the earlier presentation a number of important accolades as it relates not only to our own personal health, but also to the health of the environment, to include the number of trails that we have increased throughout this community. And in addition with some partners like Whole Child Leon, which is aptly represented here, as well as our City Parks and Recreations Department, our Planning Department, we have proliferated the number of local and community gardens inside neighborhoods and inside what we might consider food deserts in parts of this community so that folks can have easy and affordable access to healthy food products. We've also, through Sustainable You Conference, as well as the promotion of community gardening efforts, vastly increased our information and education and learning out to the broader community. Our TAP program, you all will know that I believe they are an Emmy award-winning commercial.
Right.
The TAP program, which I believe my colleague in her private citizen life, Commissioner Miller, had an important role in making happen. We have 75 miles of hiking and biking trails, roughly 4,000 acres of parkland to protect our natural habits and our natural resources. Many of you all will also know that we sit above the Florida Aquifer, and through many of the departments in this city, we work overtime to make sure that we keep that a clean and fresh water body. Through our spray farm, we've increased the level of treatment on the spray farm to ensure that nitrate levels don't percolate and infiltrate our ground water. Very, very important things to do. In celebration of Earth Day, the city, along with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare, Sustainable Tallahassee, Whole Child Leon, and the Big Bend chapter of the Florida Water Environment Association will host Healthy Communities Festival on April 22nd at Cascades Park. And we want to invite everyone in the community out to participate in this effort. The city of Tallahassee proudly recognizes all who follow positive environmental practices and will promote activities and behaviors that will inspire environmental awareness and encourage conservation, protection, and the appreciation of our nation's natural resources throughout the month of April and all year round. Now, therefore, I, Andrew Gillum, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Tallahassee, do hereby proclaim Tallahassee's Earth Day and ask all citizens to observe our festival from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. on April 22nd. It'll be a fun family day. We invite all of the community out to participate. And again, want to thank our partners who have taken leadership and making sure that we acknowledge this day not just in words, but through actions. And so with that, I'd ask them to please receive this proclamation on behalf of the city, and we'll welcome a representative forward to also give some remarks. If you all will welcome and thank them.
I'm Jim Davis. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable Tallahassee. I've been Executive Director about 2.5 years now, and we really are proud. We were on the planning committee for the festival. We're a big believer in festivals for a way of promoting sustainability in our community. So many times we get out there and we talk to the choir. It allows us to get out to talk to other people that may not hear the message that we do have. You have, 2,000 to 4,000 people that be at this festival. Those are individuals that you can talk about sustainable, about healthy living. We also, at Sustainable Tallahassee, one thing we do, we started last year for our second year. This year, we work with the Chain of Parks Art Festival. There we speak to about 50 to 75,000 people that we can help promote healthy communities in Sustainable Tallahassee. So this one, again, we get people we don't ordinarily get to talk to about this, and we also promote healthy living. One of the things that we were able to do this year, working with the food trucks, is they've agreed not to use styrofoam and also plastic bags. So I think the more we do things like this, the more we get the word out. We're also going to be working with Pride Fest this year and also greening their festival. So our goal is to green more. This festival, it obviously is sort of like the Healthy Communities Festival. It's like the start of all this for a few years ago when we started that. So we're very happy to be part of the whole community that does that. One thing I'd really like to do is thank the city. One thing when we started talking last year about the chain of parks is we realized that area, the Park Avenue, did not have water fountains. And we're trying to promote the idea of not using single-use water bottles, keep the plastic out of the environment, to encourage more people to have refillable water bottles and bring them with us. So we talked to the city, and I think that talks ultimately led to the fact that the city is going to have a water wagon that can take the festivals to allow people to have refillable water bottles. Again, a positive thing, and we really appreciate the city utilities for doing that. Ultimately, I think the idea, again, festivals, the mayor talked about, and others talked about all the trails we have, all the parks we have. And again, we'd like to do all we can do to help make these green places for people to go. Events, hopefully help guidelines for that, for green events and so forth. We thank the city for all they do for supporting us in Sustainable Tallahassee. Whole Foods, Courtney Atkins here, I really appreciate that. Also, TMH is not here, is also a big supporter. Whole Child. I'm sorry. But okay, I appreciate that, and stuff. So if that's my only one I've done so far, I've done good. Okay, good. So again, thank you all very much. I hope you can attend. It's a fun time at the festival. Thank you.
So it's actually on his nameplate.
We're still having a big roast.
All right, commissioners, thank you for that. Thank you for the participants as well. Commissioners, we're now at the point in the agenda where we will take comments from members of the audience on items that are on the agenda. Mr. Cook, are there any speakers?
Yes, Mayor, we have a couple of speakers. The first is Ralph DeMeo. I'll ask speakers to come to the microphone to my right and their left. He is speaking on item 1203, an ordinance being introduced regarding animal abuse registry. And I'll remind him and our other speakers that we provide 3 minutes each for your remarks. There is a light just to the left of where you've placed your papers that will be green and eventually turn red, but I'll also let you know at the 3-minute mark. If you'll give your name and address, we'll let you begin.
Thank you. I'm Ralph DeMeo at P.O. Box 6526, Tallahassee, Florida. I'm a member of the Hopping Green and Sam's law firm. It's good to see everybody again. I'm here to speak in favor of the Animal Abuser Registry. I've had the opportunity to work very closely with the city staff at Parks and Rec and the Animal Service Center on this and many other ordinances. The city, as you heard earlier, is a leader in a lot of areas. One of the areas that you're a leader in is animal control, and your animal shelter has a very good reputation statewide. It's because of you all that we have the excellent ordinances in place now and some of the great programs. I am aware that there's been some concerns expressed, particularly by ASPCA. They've written a letter to you. I've read it. It's a fine organization, but I respectfully disagree with pretty much every point they make in there. This registry may not be the panacea, but it's a great step forward, and I strongly urge you all to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeMeo, for all your work on the committee, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Kate McFall on the same item. And following her will be Steve Urs.
Hi, good afternoon. Kate McFall at 1206 Walton Drive. And as you know, I'm a very active volunteer at Animal Services and have been for a very long time, and also very active with the Animal Shelter Foundation. Our Tails and Trails is coming out on May 6th, by the way. So just wanted to give a shout out and applaud Commissioner Maddox and his leadership in the Animal Cruelty Task Force. That's really terrific, and I know that this community is working in the right direction, doing some really terrific things, and look forward to working with you on more things in the future. But that's a terrific start. It sets an example, and we really applaud it. We animal welfare folks appreciate your leadership in creating that and working on these issues.
Thank you so much for all your work. You're tireless. We appreciate it.
The next speaker is Steve Urs, speaking on item 1301, the solar farm update.
Yes, Steve Urs, 1118 Waverly Road. Today I'm representing Sustainable Tallahassee and the League of Women Voters of Tallahassee, and back here on the solar farm update, but more specifically this time on the solar customer participation program. For more than 4 years, those two organizations and Rethink Energy Florida have been advocating for a customer participation program so that people like me and others whose homes are covered with trees and the solar energy would not be reasonable, or people with apartments or people with aging roofs have an opportunity to participate in solar. And so the program that's outlined in this agenda would successfully accomplish that. To determine the interest in that, those three organizations I mentioned developed an I Support Community Solar interest card. And a couple of years ago, we started collecting signatures, hoping at some point that the city would develop such a program. And we have now about 400 cards that we will excitedly be giving to you at the time of the PR event for the groundbreaking for the solar farm. We look forward to doing that. Many people, in addition to what I've mentioned that it's not feasible to put on solar, are excited about the ability to lock in a 20-year rate for the fuel charge at 5 cents. They are aware of the volatility of natural gas, and it was just 6 months ago that the natural gas fuel charge rate was 2.94 cents, and then just April 1st, it got increased to 3.3 cents. This making the signing up for the solar participation program June 1st even more important. So we encourage residents and businesses to participate, to show you commissioners that indeed there is an interest for solar in the community, and that more solar ideally will be better. It's especially appropriate because the mayor just did another Earth Day proclamation, and so it's good that we have the solar farm update on this agenda, and we believe that this is a major step towards the mayor's goal in an op-ed Earth Day piece last year, where he encouraged 50% renewable energy by 2030. And this is indeed a major, serious step towards that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
That's the last speaker I have, Mayor.
Great. Thank you to all of our public speakers. Commissioners, we're now on to the consent agenda.
Move consent.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. We're on city commission items. The first will be a report on the Tallahassee-Leon County Commission on the Status of Women. And I want to, my agenda says Allison Ferris, but I also see who, yeah, Haley Cutler. Haley, we want to welcome you to the dais for the update.
Hello, Commissioners. Great to see you. Today is not actually a report from the Tallahassee-Leon County Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. The agenda item before you is to ratify a selection to fill a vacancy on the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and Gina Giacomo is here today, right here.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I misread that. So we're just going to take an action, and hopefully we'll be congratulating you in a moment.
Move acceptance.
There's a motion.
Second.
And second, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Gina, congratulations, and welcome to one of the highest functioning and highest producing commissions that exist in this community. Looking forward to your work and your participation.
Thank you all for your support, and thank you for your service, Gina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, 11.02, Science Advisory Committee appointments and reappointments. Is there a motion?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Item 11.03.
Move acceptance.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. We're now on introduction of ordinances. Mr. City Attorney.
Item number 12.01 is ordinance number 17-0-07. It's an ordinance of the City of Tallahassee, Florida, providing for the dissolution of the Dove Pond Community Development District pursuant to Section 190.046 of the Florida statutes. The first and only hearing for this ordinance is scheduled for May 24th of this year at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Item number 12.02 is ordinance 17-0-08. It's an ordinance of the City of Tallahassee, Florida, establishing a community development district to be known as the Canopy Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, naming the district, describing the external boundaries of the districts, describing the function and powers of the districts, designating 5 persons to serve as the initial member of the District Board of Supervisors. The first and only public hearing is scheduled also for May 24th, 2017 at 6 o'clock in these hearings. I might note that inadvertently there was a public hearing notice that advertised on March 29th that indicated that the public hearing would be held on April 26th, but that was in error. The public hearing will be held on May 24th. Item number 12.03 is ordinance 17-0-10. It's a ordinance of the City of Tallahassee amending Chapter 4 Animals of the Code of General Ordinances, establishing a city animal abuser registry, providing for definitions, providing for the establishment of an animal abuser registry, providing for registration requirements, providing a registry for animal shelters, pet sellers, private citizens, or others to voluntarily consult before selling, transferring, or otherwise conveying an animal to an individual. The first and only public hearing for this ordinance is scheduled for April 26 at 6 p.m. In these chambers. Item number 12.04 is ordinance number 17-0-11. It's an ordinance, City of Tallahassee, Florida, amending Chapter 10 of the Tallahassee Land Development Code, repealing moratorium concerning cannabis dispensaries and medical marijuana treatment centers. It imposes regulations on medical marijuana dispensing facilities, and the first of two public hearings on this ordinance is scheduled for April 26th of this year at 6 p.m. in these chambers. The second and final public hearing on this ordinance will be held on May 24th at 6 p.m. in these chambers also. Item number 12.05 is ordinance number 17-Z-05. It's an ordinance of the City of Tallahassee, Florida, designating and including additional territory as and in residential preservation 1 with historical preservation overlay on the official zoning map of the City of Tallahassee, adopted and established by the City Commission. The first and only public hearing on this ordinance is scheduled for April 26, 2017, again at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Finally, item number 12.06 is an ordinance of the City of Tallahassee, Florida, amending sections 14-2.335 and 14-2.435 of the Code of General Ordinance of the City of Tallahassee relating to discontinuation of general employees' drop pension contributions. The first and only public hearing on this ordinance will be scheduled for April 26 at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Mayor, I'd like to have by acclamation move to have introduced items 12.01 through 12.06.
Great. Without objection, show them introduced. Commissioner Ziffer?
Just wanted to make a quick comment. It's not often that you get to see on an agenda the dissolution of a body that was your first elected position, which is Dove Pond Community Development District. Way back in 2007, I was elected by one person who was the developer at the time.
You feeling a conflict of interest here? Or?
I don't think so, because it's 7, 8 years ago.
Joking,
I think
man.
I'm okay.
I'm joking.
9 years ago.
They had to close down.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Commissioners. We're now on to item 13.01, Solar Farm Status Update. Yield the mic to City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, this item is an update on the solar program. As you know, you authorized staff to move forward with 2 solar farms at the Tallahassee International Airport, as described by the mayor earlier today. The first farm is a 20-megawatt facility, and the second is a 40-megawatt facility. Possibly the most important part of the plan is customer participation. Over the last year, as construction plans and permits were being finalized, we have been developing a customer program whereby customers can sign up for solar energy. Reese Gold is here to provide a status update on the timing of construction and the details of the customer program.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, Commissioners. It's certainly my pleasure to present this item to you tonight. With your direction and leadership over the last number of years, and in particular over the last year or so, I don't think we can overstate the path in which we're about to head, really taking solar to a new level beyond where we are today as a community. As the manager mentioned, we want to talk about the customer program, but before I do that, I want to talk about that we're on the eve of construction for the solar farm number 1. I want to show you where that's going to be, talk a little bit about the output, and some high-level details so that we're all on the same page. And I want to get to the customer program piece of it, which I think we're most excited about. All right. We're going to get there. You can see this is an aerial image of the Tallahassee International Airport. More in the top right of the image, you can see the terminal itself. The terminal takes up about 4 acres of land, the actual building. So that gives you some idea of scale relative to the bottom image, which is in yellow, which would be solar farm number 1. that'll be more than 100 acres of land. So it gives you an idea of scale of how big the facility will be, and in fact, why we would call it a farm. It will produce approximately, on average, 37 million kilowatt hours a year. That's in comparison to a typical home uses about 900 kilowatt hours a year. So you can kind of see that scale. And that's the facility we're about to break ground on. So the groundbreaking is planned for early May, and we're firming up those details. I know it will be a very exciting time. And soon thereafter, we plan to begin construction on solar farm number 2. I'll show you that one. You can see they won't be connected. They'll be at the airport, so I wanted to make sure we showed you these images. It takes advantage of available land at the Tallahassee International Airport. So the hashed yellow image that you see, that would be solar farm number 2, and collectively they would make up our solar program, making up 60 megawatts of available capacity. Quite a bit of capacity. In fact, that's about 20% of our average capacity need. Not energy, because solar only produces when the sun shines, of course, but about 20% of our average capacity need, which is really impressive. So with that said, that's the nuts and the bolts of the program. So we're going to put a bunch of solar panels out. We're going to have a lot of acres that support that. They're going to have farms, but we really wanted to take a different approach. Steve Urs spoke earlier, and I'd like to thank him for being here. He's been a big help. Steve, along with his organizations that he's part of, Sustainable Tallahassee, the League of Women Voters, they've been really good, really advocates, if you will, and advisors, so that we make sure we get this program right. We make Tallahassee different than what we see elsewhere. And I think we get there by way of the customer program. How do we allow our customers and our citizens, our neighbors, to participate? So we were looking for a different kind of program. We want to share these details with you as we begin to finalize that and submit it for final approval, which will take the form of an ordinance for your feedback and thoughts. Simply put, we're talking about solar without having to put it on your roof. Steve mentioned that, and we all know Steve, and he would love to put solar panels on his roof, but he can't because he has tree coverage. And there are a number of reasons why people can't put solar on their roof, whether they rent, whether their home's not oriented properly relative to the sun exposure, maybe you have trees, any number of reasons why you can't put solar on your roof, but people want to participate. We've heard it over and over and over. How do I take advantage of solar? I want to participate. So we really tried to devise a program we thought would work. I note on this slide that the program that we proposed would be available to homeowners as well as renters, and it would be portable. So if you are a renter today, or you're a homeowner today and you move in Tallahassee somewhere, let's say in 10 years, you could take it with you. And we think that's invaluable because people want to participate and they don't want to go forego that right or that ability sometime in the future. And then we thought that you would want to sign up for the amount of energy you want to buy in solar. So that we could administer it, we identify a few tiers, 25%, 50%, and 100%, so you could pick the amount that fits your needs. And then maybe most importantly, and I think the piece that makes this program work and really stand out from what we see others thinking about or maybe doing is that we're going to guarantee the price. It will not change, and it will be guaranteed for 20 years. So you can sign up for a program today, and the price won't change for 20 years. I don't know of any other program like that. I'm sure even in other industries it's hard to find something like that. And that really reflects the benefit of solar, because solar is not like our typical power plants where the fuel input changes, the price of the fuel changes. This won't. It's a capital investment. There'll be some maintenance. It'll be a modest amount of maintenance that can be relatively easy to anticipate, and so we can guarantee that price. We tie that back to the contract. As you know, the contract is that we'll have a third party build this and operate it for various business reasons, and we tie these prices back so it matches the 20-year price of that facility. To be available to residential and commercial customers. In your agenda item, we talk about a split of 50% for commercial customers, a reservation for 50% for commercial customers, and a reservation for residential customers. And we recommend that because we don't want our larger commercial customers to gobble up, if you will, all of this supply, because even though it will produce 37 million kilowatt hours of energy, it will be limited. I'm very confident this will go fast, and I'm going to speak about that in a minute, but we've recommended we reserve some, in fact, half for residential, half for our commercial, and that's about the mix of our demand. So when we look at our customer usage, how much comes from commercial and residential. So it's available to renters, owners, residential customers, commercial customers, our largest institutional customers. I want to talk about the next steps. I mentioned the groundbreaking in May. This is a rate, it's a tariff that would be approved by the Public Service Commission in addition to the City Commission through our normal ordinance process. So as we finalize the program later this month, we'll make its submittal. I would not anticipate any issues, but it would be subject to approval by the Florida Public Service Commission. During May, there's 2 meetings. We would introduce the ordinance, have a public hearing in May, and upon approval, sign-up could begin in June. I mentioned earlier, I think this will go fast. Steve's already mentioned that before we even approved the program that he has hundreds of people that want to sign up, so I think that's an indication of demand. Based on my estimation, and it will be unique because customers will sign up for different levels and our usage levels are different, but we'll have enough space for a few thousand of our customers to give you some idea of scale. So Steve's already taken up 400 of those slots, apparently. The good work of those folks. And I can tell you that Florida State University has actually written us a letter and pledged their support. They've been very interested in this. I think it makes a lot of sense. They've told us all along, Florida State University and other institutions similar, that they don't want to be in the power business. That's not their core competency, but they want to participate. So they've been very excited about it. In fact, they've written us a letter pledging their support. So I think we see strong demand. I think time is now to sign up and get on board if you want to participate in the program. So we've taken that and we've created some cards so that people can actually fill them out, hard copy forms. I've got one here. You can see, I'm interested in solar. You give us your information and we're going to keep you informed. When the program's approved, we'll let you know and allow you to sign up. And maybe even easier than that, you can go online to talgov.com/solar, and we've got an easy to fill out form that you can indicate that you're interested to keep you informed, even express how much energy you might want to buy. Really easy. We'll send updates as they're available as we progress through the process. But I do believe this program will go very, very, very fast. And we can't oversubscribe it. It will only produce so much energy. My suspicion is we will create a waiting list, and then when solar farm number 2 comes online, those customers on the waiting list will have another opportunity. There'll be an open enrollment period. We have to define that because of the way we organize our rules with the Florida Public Service Commission. In particular, that would be through the end of the year. I cannot imagine this being available through the end of the year, just letting you know based on how much feedback we've gotten. So we wanted to share with you the details of the program. As the city manager mentioned, as Steve Erst mentioned, building the facility is one thing. I think the customer program is the other. I think it takes us to another level. I think it reflects who we are as a community, and we appreciate your leadership and would love to have your feedback as we finalize this program development.
Excellent. Reese, I want to thank you and obviously the manager and the staff at the utility. You really, this program is a total step up to meet the community's values. And I agree with you. I think it's going to be wildly popular. I want to sign up. I can imagine a number of us probably do. And I know that we've heard from the community resoundingly that this is something that they want to see happen. I think what I love is the biggest attraction to this is the fact that any individual in the community can participate. If you're a renter, as you mentioned, you don't own the home and you're not able to put a solar panel on because maybe it's cost prohibitive for you, you can sign up for the rate structure and still be able to live your values by being able to draw down the energy that gets created vis-a-vis these solar panels and the solar farm. On the rate question, I'm wondering, are we breaking new ground at the PSC with this particular type of rate structure, either for the municipal electric or for the private sector electric?
This will be unique. I'd like to say it that way. I hope it will not break the mold too badly, but it will be unique. The commitment over time for 20 years will be unique, but it is cost-based, so we follow those basic principles that there's no undue burden placed on the rest of the ratepayers. So I think they will look upon it favorably, but to be directly answer your question, this will be unique and different. Yes, sir.
Got it. And then for the purposes of reliability, are we able to factor in solar when you all are having to meet various reliability standards?
No, sir. We're not able to count solar towards capacity, and I appreciate that question. I think that gives us a great opportunity to talk about a project that the commission previously approved to install new generators that can turn on quickly and turn off quickly. And you'll recall that we're going to build one at Substation 12 near the TMH campus. In fact, there's about 100 megawatts that we'll add to our system. We'll need devices and equipment like that to match the solar output, because solar can go away with the cloud cover. It may not be available on a day that's rainy. So I can't count on it towards capacity because I don't control it. And so I have to have equipment that complements it, that's able to come on and off very fast. So we've got a good plan. I think the plan is well-baked, if you will, thinking about how we meet those reliability requirements but still maximize the output of solar.
Great. Excellent work. I mean, the only other thing that I would, love to see, some additional thinking on our part, particularly as we think about the future, meeting the future energy needs of our customer bases, sort of the at-home. So, for instance, there's some homes that are ripe for solar panels on their roof. And I know we've had different iterations of incentives and drew down on some of the federal incentives that have been in place, but would like us to stay, on the front end of that opportunity. I think it's probably the one critique that we get from customers is, how do I get a unit, at home? I think our concerns on it are properly placed, but as we think about the future building out of our future energy needs, that we should be thoughtful as to how we can help on the at-home part as well. Commissioners, is there a motion on that? Commissioner Maddox.
First, I'd like to move that we accept the report.
Second. There's a motion and a second.
And wanted to add my thanks. When I brought up the expansion at the retreat, I didn't dream that you could move this quickly on the expansion. That's fantastic. And this is the difference when a community owns an electric utility. I mean, we call it YOU, your own utility, for a reason. This is the difference when the community owns it. When you look at when the investor-owned utilities make decisions based on what's best for their shareholders, not necessarily their ratepayers. We make decisions based on what's best for an entire community. The staff's done an excellent job on this. I look forward to many more expansions in the future.
Thank you. All right. Commissioners, there's a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. We're now on to item 13.02.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, on a periodic basis, the City Commission policies are reviewed by staff to ensure they're up to date and evaluated they're still relevant. This item recommends the deletion of 3 policies as they're now, in our opinion, outdated and no longer necessary. Robert Wiggin is here to answer any questions. I can list the policies for you if you like. They're policy 202, which is the Community Development Block Grant Policy, which we no longer use to deal with CDBG funds. Policy 208, Utility Donations, Project Share, and 210, which is Utility Deposits for Hardship Low-Income Customers. Those programs are still in effect, but they're dealt with on an administrative level.
Commissioners, are there any questions or is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the next item, item 13.03.
Thank you, sir. Item 13.03 is the approval of the FY17 Annual Action Plan Amendment. This item requests that you allocate approximately $187,000 program income generated from various state and federal grant programs to be used to increase funding for affordable housing, down payment assistance, homeowner rehab, and to fund a new program to help low-income homeowners protect their homes against potential storm damage. Good topic for today. Michael Parker is here to provide a brief overview of this action, if you care to have him, and to address any questions you have.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Parker.
Adoption, Mr. Mayor. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioners, we're now on to the final formation and direction of policy item, 13.04.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, on approval, and I want to acknowledge the city staff for really sort of getting in front on this one. Rick, you and your team for negotiating, I think, a good deal on behalf of our electric utility system and the ratepayers. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioners, we're now at the point of the agenda where we'll hear from speakers on items that are not agended. Mr. Treasurer Clerk, are there any speakers?
Mayor, I have none.
I see none. Commissioners, we're on sharing of ideas. Commissioner Ziffer.
I have two items. The first is the city of Tallahassee and Leon County were recognized last week at the Capitol during Florida Senior Day. And we were recognized for our leadership being the pilot city and county for the Dementia Care and Cure Initiative by the Department of Elder Affairs. It was presented to us by the Secretary of Elder Affairs, and it was a well-attended event, so congratulations and thank you, commissioners, for helping make this happen. We are in our communications department, and Allison, where are you? All your hard work, this belongs just as much to our communications department as anybody in the city. In fact, we continue to be recognized, and more people call me to find out what we're doing, and a lot more people are going to hear about this. So thank you, Allison, and thank you, commissioners, and the mayor, and the rest of our city staff for allowing us to receive this.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Ziffer. I think on behalf of the commission, we appreciate you bringing this to our attention, helping to organize allies in the community and raising awareness on what is unfortunately an all too present issue in our community across the state and the country. So well deserved.
Thank you.
Commissioner,
I've got one more. This is a request that I'm hopeful that all of you will consider, and we can have a discussion about it now. It follows, I think, National Walking Day fairly well. It follows Earth Day, the conversation. Next week is going to be designated as Action Transportation Week in Tallahassee, April 9th through the 15th. And this is being done by jointly through the Florida Department of Transportation and the Florida Department of Health. We've got someone, Ernie Bradley, who's with us today, who I'm going to ask to come up, speak just for a second. We've been asked by these two Florida departments, as I said, Department of Transportation and Health, to do something here in Tallahassee this year that will hopefully be followed all of next year around the, not next year around the state, but not all of next year, but next year at this time around the state. And they are asking us, and I have spoken to Reese with Star Metro, to provide free bus service for anybody that would like to ride the bus on April 10th. So people can get the feel of what it's like to ride a city bus and how great it is. I'm also asking commissioners if you would do the same thing that I'm going to be doing, which is going to be choosing to use the bus on Monday as a form of transportation. So I'm going to ask Ernie if he wants to say a few words, and then hopefully get approval on staff from our commission, I should say. I know staff's ready to move on this, so that this coming Monday we can get a lot of people riding our bus system.
Love it.
Ernie?
Yes, well, first, thank you for having me today. My counterpart, Trina McPherson, with the Florida Department of Transportation, was not able to make it today. But firstly, I want to tell you that this is an event that we've come up with called Active Transportation Week, and the goal of Active Transportation Week is to first look at that stigma that's associated with taking transit, and really wanting to promote that it is not just another form of transportation, but a truly viable form of transportation within the city of Tallahassee. the way this event will go is that it will be a week-long event, and it's going to be the Department of Transportation and the Department of Health working together with joint press releases, as well as 2 events during the week. The events during the week will be the first, which was alluded to earlier, on April 10th of Take a Trip on Transit Day. And as Commissioner Ziffer said, we have worked with the transit here in town to make sure to get that free transit, and we'll be ourselves having representatives from Department of Health and Transportation also taking transit as a form of transportation. Second, on April 14th, which will be that Friday, we will be having a community walkability assessment. And the goal of this community walkability assessment is to be in one of our low-income or underserved communities and have that ability to work with that community to get their feedback on what it's like to be using things from their sidewalks, bus stops, and making sure that they have all of the same access opportunities as anyone else across the city. One of the things that the Department of Health has made a concerted effort to is making sure that people have the ability to walk, and that we have the equitable ability to walk. And by equitable, I mean that it's not just everyone has the opportunity, it's everyone has the same chances to get those opportunities, that we're distributing that across the city. What our goal is that this would be a pilot project, and then this time next year we would like to roll it out. It's very similar to the U.S. Department of Transportation's Mayor's Challenge. And our goal will be to challenge the rest of the, not just city, but also county governments across the state of Florida to have their own Take a Trip on Transit Day and their own community walkability assessment, and to then use that and promote more of what they're doing, and we would like to also have a recognition that we will be giving out to these communities as well.
So I make a motion that we allow the general public to ride our transit system on Monday at no charge.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Between the Dementia Cure and Care Initiative and this and other things we're doing, we seem to be teaming up rather well with the state of Florida, and I think that's good for us. And I think it's good for the state of Florida, so thank you for bringing this.
All right, well, thank you.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, there is a motion and a second on the motion.
Date?
Monday.
This Monday.
Monday the 10th?
Yes, 10th.
That Monday the 10th, we allow and open up, throw the doors of access open for everyone in this community to ride public transportation at no charge. All those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Ernie.
Of course, Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Maddox.
I got one item to share, Mr. Mayor. Recently, Commissioner Ziffer was honored as the 2017 Elected Official of the Year by the Big Bend unit of the National Association of Social Workers, their Florida chapter.
Nice.
And that's a pretty big deal. They try to find applicants that have accomplished and shown demonstrated leadership in human services and a dedication to their community. But your efforts brought praise on all of us in the city, and so congratulations on that award, sir.
Here, here. Wasn't aware. Congratulations, Commissioner.
I appreciate that. As I said at the event, the city manager was there, and we had other representatives from the city. This is an award the city should receive, because I may be the point person, but none of this could have been accomplished without all the work of our 2,800 employees and all 4 of you, in addition to our upper-level management. So I want to thank all of you for allowing me to get in this position. It was an honor.
Congratulations, indeed. Commissioner Miller.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Commissioner Zipper. And I also wanted to thank Commissioner Maddox for his leadership on the Animal Abuse Registry, because I think that's great. Well, actually, my announcement for tonight is that for the 3rd year in a row, the City of Tallahassee has won the Regional Best Tasting Water Contest, coordinated with the American Water Works Association. The judges in this case, they evaluate unlabeled water samples for color, clarity, taste, and odor, and the competition participants represented 8 counties' public water systems in our region. From this point on, we go to the state competition, and so good luck to everyone with that. We are blessed with one of the highest quality water sources in the world. I heard in the prayer, thank you for our blessings, and I thought that's one of them. In this area, we are truly, truly blessed with excellent water. To ensure, though, that our tap water is of the highest quality and is very safe to drink, the city maintains our water infrastructure. It employs professional staff who operate a nationally accredited water and environmental testing lab. Every year, the lab analyzes over 16,000 samples, testing against 105 quality analytes, I'm assuming those are substances, ensuring that the drinking water we receive meets all of the state and federal regulations. These results routinely show that our water meets and exceeds all guidelines set by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and the Florida Department of Health. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all the men and women who are in our water quality division, who make sure that not only we have safe, clean, tasty drinking water, but also are able to get us situated so we have this wonderful award and recognition. The city's underground utilities, the water quality division is housed in the city's underground utilities department, which is a 2015 Governor's Sterling Award recipient, and this department has long been recognized for innovative technology and award-winning facilities and management. So kudos to the folks that work in the entire department, and especially today to those who work in the water quality division. So that's one thing.
Hear, hear.
And I hope that we're back again a little bit to announce that we won the state award. Anybody who really wants to run a taste of their own can just notice in their travels how their water tastes. I mean, anywhere else I go in the state, and just about anywhere else, period, it's just not the same. And we are very, very lucky to have the water that we do have. All right, the second thing I wanted to bring to your attention was...
I could just add on, Commissioner Miller, you are so right. People in Tallahassee, please do not buy bottled water.
No kidding.
They get
You're
it.
wasting your money. Our water is as good, if not better, than the bottled water, and then we have all the plastic that is left over from that. And if you must buy bottled water, buy it once and refill it from your tap, and I guarantee you will not tell the difference.
You are very right. You actually don't know where that bottled water came from. So at least when it comes out of your tap, you do know where it came from. All right. The next thing you remember last week we had the Appalachian Regional Planning Council come and give you a brief talk about what they do and the organization. I attended a board meeting last Thursday, and I wanted to give you just a little bit of a recap of some of the things that they discussed there. The first thing that they discussed was the city's application for a foreign trade zone. If you'll remember, in 2015, we gave the airport authorization to go forward with that. This is going to include eight counties total, and our speaker is the person who is a consultant hired to shepherd this application through the system, which is a very complicated process. He was at the Appalachian Regional Planning Council because the application requires letters of support from all of the other counties. Those are forthcoming. One of the questions was, what's in it for us, essentially? And he did an excellent job of explaining to them exactly why this was so important. I would like someday, within the next 6 months or so, to have that consultant come and give the same presentation to us. I think it's, just to give us an update as to where the application sits at this point. And there are some future considerations that we need to be thinking about as to if we were to win this award, what that would mean to us in terms of dollars and cents as far as facilities. So that is the one thing I wanted to bring up. We also talked about emergency management planning. Economic development. And the reason I'm going over this is that I'd like for you to have an idea of the breadth of what they do. They are able to coordinate all of these counties, because the staff has relationships with all of them, and so anything that requires a regional approach, they are coordinating that approach, and I found that to be a real useful committee to be on. One of the things that I wanted to mention also was the Big Bend Continuum of Care is the ARPC is having preliminary discussions with the Continuum of Care board members on potential management agreement that would house the 4 Continuum of Care employees at the council's office. I know some of you have been involved with that, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This is going to come out as a win-win financially for both organizations, and I thought that that was a really good synergistic relationship that's in the works. Also, Mary Louise Hester from Senator Bill Nelson's office announced an Amtrak meeting in Marianna on April 12th at 10 to 11:30, I believe, Central Time, to discuss a proposed Sunset Limited route. And I know a lot of the people in the city are interested in this, and this is open to the public. So, announcement. Basically, if you are interested in attending this meeting, you need to contact Mary Louise Hester at Senator Nelson's office, and the number is 850-942-8415. I'm sure it's easy to find in the directory, but just that's Wednesday, April 12th from 10 to 11 o'clock Central Time in Marianna. And with that, I want to thank all of you for going through an arduous week and the commitment that you've shown and the attention you have shown to making all of the decisions that we were faced with making yesterday.
You're here. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a follow-up somewhat to our workshop, I know that you all received, I'm sure the city manager probably did too, a petition from the residents on Live Oak Plantation Road requesting that Live Oak Plantation Road be resurfaced. Have we responded to them, Mr. Manager, or is there plans for a response to their request?
The answer is no, we have not responded, and but we're having our folks evaluate that road. They're one of the segments that you saw, one of those dots.
Right.
And I will first communicate to the City Commission and then take some direction.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The only thing I will mention is April, I thought we renamed it a while ago, Festival Season in Tallahassee. This weekend, an event that I believe the CRA is a sponsor of, but will kick off on Friday. The Word of South. Want to invite the community out to participate in that event, which will take place in Cascades Park. There will be simultaneous readings, entertainment from various stages all throughout the park. Weather cooperating, and I assume it will, we should actually have a really, really good weekend in the city of Tallahassee. Chain of Parks, is that? That's not this weekend, is it?
It's next week. Lemoyne is next week.
Lemoyne will be the following week.
Right.
And obviously, we just kicked off spring with Springtime Tallahassee this previous weekend, which, by the way, it was a real pleasure walking with my colleagues, and thanks to the city of Tallahassee for the trolley that we were also able to advertise. So if you were interested in having access to the schedule of events for Word of South, they do have an app that you can download. It will give you a complete schedule of the times and the artists and various performers. Word of South, I would put that in your app search, and you should be able to bring up the app immediately. Commissioners, are there any other items to be shared? Commissioner Ziffer.
The only other comment I have is, where is everybody? I mean, I'm kind of used to
We
this
saw them
being
last night.
full
We did.
here.
They're at home.
And let's not forget, as we get further into the month, Shakespeare Festival comes up too. So yes,
That's
April
right.
is a big month.
Festival month.
Can I
Commissioner
ask
Miller?
if the manager could give a brief update in case anybody's out there at home trying to figure out what's going on with the storm. If you could just tell people what you know at this point.
What I know is that the winds are coming in. I think we've already had one tree down on Centerville Road and Hickory Ridge that's blocking the road. But we expect it now, it looks like it's going to be a little later than we expected it. I know there was a 3:30 call which Chief Gaines attended. We'll get an update when we're through here.
Go home.
If there's no further business by anyone, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
See y'all later.
Getting out of here?
All right, all right. Do we need details on that? I mean, we just show up.